Hi everybody, how's it going? How you doing? How you living? I'm back. It's been a hot minute, almost a full month, probably a full month by the time you're hearing this. If you actually watch this outside of the time of its streaming. Welcome back. For all the old subscribers, thank you. Welcome. Glad to see you. And for all the new subscribers and all the new viewers, welcome. Welcome back. Or welcome to the stream. Or welcome to the VOD, wherever you watch this. Thank you for that. We hope to get to 50 subscribers if we're already not at 50 subscribers. And that's the goal for the end of the year. Well, the true goal is to get to 100 subscribers. If you guys want to make that happen, you can. But nevertheless, we're not here to talk about subscriptions. We're not here to talk about any of that. What we are here to talk about is sadness, actually. First, let me get the housekeeping out of the way before we get on the discussion of what we're actually here to talk about. It's been a month. I know. I understand it's been a month. March is a little bit of an annoying month for me, personally. I just didn't have the drive. I didn't want to I actually didn't have the drive or the motivation to stream anything, to do anything. I made that rant room video, and then I kind of went off the grid. Which happens. Ow, that hurts. But I wanted to come back in the month of April and start uploading more videos. There actually might be something new in the works. And yeah, honestly, a new game series might be coming to the channel. I'm actually going to be doing another fighting game stream, most likely. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on sale at the time of this recording, and yeah, if you guys want to check that out in the future and see me rant, because I know I'll be ranting, you guys can do that. We got new things coming to the channel. In fact, we got a live stream next week coming up where I'm going to be interviewing a very special guest, and look forward to that on the channel. If anything changes from that, I will let you guys know, but as of right now, it seems to be the plan is I'm going to have a voice actor guest. And look forward to other videos coming in the future, non-live stream videos. And I will have, for all of those who watch this video, I'll have my Twitter in the description, because I finally figured out how to do that, because I swear I'm not a 30-year-old boomer, I promise. Without further ado, why are we here today? Well, you see the title of the video, you know why what the title of the video is. On March 1st, 2024, or actually no, let me go back, not March 1st, I'm skipping ahead. On March 8th, 2024, the world learned of the passing of Akira Toriyama at the age of 68. He would die to the equivalent of a brain injury, or a head injury. I would give you the actual doctoral terms, but I'm not here to bore you with that. He died of head. If only we could all be lucky dying of head. No, he died of head trauma, more or less. He actually passed on March 1st, 2024, with his family having a private funeral for him, and then the coming week, his publishing service would, I believe it was a publishing service, it was his business, more or less, would announce that he had passed. That was a very sad day for a lot of people. I, on the other hand, didn't really take it like that. I didn't care at the time. I was like, okay, that sucks. Now, with about a month to reflect, give or take, I've been able to collect my thoughts and wanted to share them in a video with you. I'm full disclaimer, I am not the biggest fan of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z was a part of my childhood, because it was a part of anybody that was born from 85, I'd say. Anybody born on the year 85 and onward, I would say from 85 to 90, I'm gonna say 85 to 2000. Dragon Ball was a part of their childhood. So that's about it. I mean, I watched some Dragon Ball, watched most of Dragon Ball Z, just played the video games more, to be honest. Didn't really have much of a fondness for Akira Toriyama or Dragon Ball. I thought, honestly, Akira Toriyama was over the hill by the time Super came out and I was old enough to understand things. That's my disclaimer for what I'm about to say about Akira Toriyama and my feel for the man. That's just a little bit of a rough draft. Now, personally, I've never met the guy or never really seen a lot of his interviews. I didn't have much of a connection to the guy, like I said. But that's Akira Toriyama. That's him. That's one thing. That's going to be the main crux of what we're talking about. I'm also going to briefly be talking about this as well. There are two topics. The first one is obviously talking about the death of Akira Toriyama. The second is a little bit less, I guess, sad. It's sad, but it's also, we knew it was coming. It was talked about for years in advance. Really sad and sucks that it's kind of dead. It's bittersweet in a way. Funimation Entertainment LLC. Everything that is Funimation is currently dead. They're rebranded. They're no longer Funimation Entertainment LLC. The only thing that is Funimation Entertainment, the only two things that you can tell that is any type of Funimation are the old Blu-rays and DVDs that are currently in circulation, which might as well pick those up because they're going to be dead soon. And the voice actors that worked there. Yeah, the voice actors that worked there were the only two things left now. Which is saddening if you are of a certain age or were invested. Again, you're seeing a lot of things change. If you're of a certain age range and were alive during certain points of history, I'd say within the last 35, 40 years, you would have seen a lot of in media history. From Cartoon Network dying to WWE switching guard to Funimation finally dying to Akira Toriyama passing away to other industry legends of America media passing away. It's been, in fact, I'm going to say the last 10 years have been quite strange. Hell, the last 5 years have been quite strange. We're not here to talk about the passage of time. Ow. That hurt. I just scratched myself. My apologies. Life happens sometimes. We do it live here. So, I went over, like I said, we're going to be going briefly over the Funimation thing. What Funimation meant to me, what my fond memories with anything that had to do with Funimation as a company, and the final moments. What the last 2 days of my experience with Funimation was, and what some of the anime I last watched on Funimation, to wrap it up in a fun little happy bow, because it's not all gloom and doom here at the Paradise. Just like in the rant room, things will continue and things will get better. With that being said, guys, we're going to let it be a little bit somber, let it be a little bit more serious note. And just let's talk about it. Let's visit the Paradise. Now, I'm not going to go over Akira Toriyama's life and how he lived his life and all that. No, I'm just going to go over what Akira Toriyama meant to me and how I came into contact with what it was. See, when I was a wee lad, like all people around my age, randomly came across it on Cartoon Network. Yeah, that's how it was. Just recently came across it on Cartoon Network on Toonami. It was the Ocean dub. I thought, oh, that was kind of cool. That's cool, I guess. I was like any other kid who could see it. I was captivated by it. It was cool. It was more serious. It was like anything I had never seen before. Honestly, I think because of things such as Dragon Ball Z, a game like Street Fighter could breathe. I could be 100% wrong about that, and Street Fighter could have came before Dragon Ball Z. I think it didn't, though. But nevertheless, I don't doubt there were a lot of inspiration from one to the other. I honestly, like I said before, I had no real connection to the guy. Never knew him, never met him, like most Americans. And I thought he was over the hill. I will never say that his contributions to the anime industry or the manga industry or to the medium as a whole was not influential. It was an influential series. It was something that if Dragon Ball was not around today, we would not have a majority of the things we have today. Just like Berserk. And I don't doubt it's possible, and I could be wrong from that. Berserk fans, correct me. I don't doubt we wouldn't have Berserk if it wasn't for Dragon Ball. I know we wouldn't have One Piece if it wasn't for Dragon Ball. That's 100% accurate. We would not have One Piece if it was not for Dragon Ball. Oda took at least 3 weeks off, speculative because of the fact that Akira Toriyama died. It was a big day for Japanese people, and to a lot of anime fans and manga fans, and to people in general. Because this did make kind of national news, if I am not mistaken. Because the guy left his imprint will be forever there. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, if you're a manga fan, Dr. Slump, Sandland, that just recently got an anime. As of the time of this recording, in America, episode 1 hasn't aired yet, but if you want to sell the 7 Seas, we're up to episode 9. I would not, if you do that, at least go back and rewatch it to support Akira Toriyama's official release, or support the Blu-ray releases. I know that won't give any money to him, or his estate, but I know I'm going to definitely be checking out the game and the anime. At least support the game. If you don't watch the anime, at least support the game. I'm going to be buying the game in the future when I get my PlayStation 5. By the way, guys, if you're wondering why my mic sounds so bad, in the future, you will definitely be getting better mic quality. That being said, I don't really have much to talk about when it comes to Akira Toriyama the person. The show, he was a creator. Over the years with Dragon Ball Super, he went over the hill, because Super is him. He was doing things for Super. He created the Broly movie, though, because Broly, for the most part, was a good story. Not the first Broly, the one where it was nothing, not the one where he cried with a slumbering, not during the original Broly is like, oh, I got pissed off because he cried. Not that one. The one where Broly actually had more of a backstory and more words and more lines. That one actually was a really good movie. And if Broly and Superhero were the last two things he went out with, then as of right now, we don't know. I don't know specifically how Sandlin is, but I do know that the two movies that he left at before he passed, they were pretty dang good. I know Super Broly was really good in my opinion. That fight at the end was... I'm not a big fight sexual, but even then I got that tickled the cockles of my heart. The problem is with me specifically is that most of Akira Toriyama's properties aren't dubbed. Besides Dragon Ball, and I could be corrected, again, correct me in the comments, Dragon Ball Z, which isn't fully dubbed, by the way. We're still missing a lot of specials. What way Crunchyroll could have, I don't know, they could have capitalized on his passing with a Dragon Ball Z OVA set if they had that in the works. I would have paid for it. Why not? That's the only thing that are dubbed as of right now. Sandland has a dub, which is great. Don't get me wrong. It is great that Sandland has a dub. Akira Toriyama worked on Sandland. I don't think there's anything else with a dub. Dr. Slump doesn't have a dub. Dr. Frapp doesn't have a dub. Aurelie is the only thing I know that has a dub from that franchise, and that's because it has a crossover with Super. I heard he worked on Legend of Dai as well, but that never fully got dubbed. So, for Akira Toriyama, a guy who has properties all throughout, who has a property that spanned the test of time with Dragon Ball, not even that's fully out in English. Hell, not even that's fully out in translatable English either. Dr. Slump, Dr. Frapp, I think those have DVDs or Blu-rays. I don't think there's a single DVD or Blu-ray set for the Dragon Ball OVAs or shorts that we didn't get. So, there's no legal way to watch them. Yeah, that'll go into the Funimation tangent. They're segues! So, these actually correlate with each other. Because for Akira Toriyama, there would be no Funimation. Maybe there would have been a Funimation, but make no mistake, Akira Toriyama, through some way, without even trying to influence Funimation's success. I'm not going to go too much into Funimation. I have more of a backstory with Funimation because I'm more privy to that story because it's better. It's just easier to access. My fondest memories with some of his properties, I can tell you this. I remember going home every week after school, or every day after school, watching old Dragon Ball Z reruns. Watching It's Over 9000, or seeing Boo come alive for the first time, or owning the orange bricks. Yes, I own the orange bricks. Those are memories. Seeing for the first time Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack, or watching or to go more recent, seeing in Super what Ultra Instinct and what Goku Black is. Or Zamasu. Or Kale. Can't wait for Kale to meet Broly, that's gonna be fun. Akira Toriyama was a flawed man, like everybody else. He got on in his age, and he was still currently creating stuff. He didn't need to, but I think that, for what it's worth, maybe not the most thought-provoking things, maybe not the most influential, maybe not the most thought-provoking, maybe not the most analytical kind of shows that he would create, but they were more than that. They were entertaining, they were long-lasting, and you cannot tell me that none of y'all mofos when you were kids didn't do the Kamehameha wave. Or you didn't go while your homeboys and you were fighting. You didn't go, alright man, I need you to freaking lift your hands to the sky, give me that energy. Or, God, I need your energy, or anything like that. So much quotable lines. And the problem with DBZ, or not the problem with DBZ, I've seen the problem in years, is that Team 4-Star kind of bastardized a little bit some of the things and Mandela affected our minds. Goku actually wasn't as... He was still a dookie doo-doo father, but he wasn't as bad. He still cared. No, I can understand why people would take umbrage with DBZA. Dragon Ball Z Abridged, I will say, did launch a lot of people, and a lot of people like Dragon Ball Z because of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. It made them go back and watch the actual series, which is good. What I'm going to do in the coming months is I'm going to be watching Sandland. I'm going to come back with a review of Sandland in the future. At least try to. And then I'm going to give my thoughts on what I think. Because Toriyama deserves another shake just besides Dragon Ball. Because if you just watched Dragon Ball and went, why is this so popular? I don't understand. It's just mostly people screaming. Yeah, it is just mostly people screaming. And just like wrestling in 1998, which is when Dragon Ball had its biggest times of popularity, it was a bunch of muscly men screaming at each other and doing grapple things. It was a show that will stand the test of time. And because of that, Akira Toriyama's name will live in history. He also created a lot of shonen tropes. He's a grandfather of shonen anime, in my opinion. I'd say the three are Saint Seiya, Dragon Ball, and Fist of the North Star. And like I said, I'm going to give Sandland a try, give my honest opinion. Hopefully it doesn't suck. I hear it's entertaining, and I'll give my thoughts on that. My feelings on Akira Toriyama? Like everybody, death is inevitable. We are all going to end up in the ground. We all have an empire of dirt, and all things really won't matter. And what really truly leaves behind is our kids. And Toriyama does had a family. He has kids. He has loved ones. His memory will never... And he has fans. His memory will never truly die until Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super dies, or Dragon Ball GT for that matter. Until that dies, it truly won't really die. And with that being said, Akira Toriyama, you're a legend in your own right. And you influence countless things, from the second topic in this video to countless others taking up and creating things that will also stand the test of time, such as an Oda or somebody who is influential like a Horikoshi or a JoJo's mangaka or countless other shows to this day. Mashima. Countless others to this day. And I hope that your family can mourn, and in the coming months they can move on. That was very classy of Japan, or the people in Japan, not to make a big deal out of it and let it be for at least a week before they let the people know that Toriyama passed away. I thought that was very classy of them. And like the saying goes, legends truly never die. And as long as a Kamehameha wave exists, so does too Akira Toriyama. A legend truly never dies, and just like Goku, the thoughts are the Dragon Balls, and your legacy are your legacy is the Dragon Ball, or your legacy is Dragon Balls. And just like the Dragon Balls, whenever we think of you, that is our wish being granted. For you to come back into our minds. That was cringy AF, but I don't care. Now, like I said before, Akira Toriyama influenced in some ways, without him even trying to, and helped the success of a little-known company known as Funimation. And before I go into the next topic, I'd like to say thank you to all the people who stayed in between. We're going to have chapter selections. We're going to have stuff. Now, if you would like to please give me a like and subscribe, that would be great. And think about maybe following me on my Twitter. You can follow me at EnglishDubOtaku on Twitter. Or Otaku Paradise, or I'm sorry, you can follow me at DubLoveOtaku, that's DUBLOVE Otaku on Twitter. Otaku Paradise Brad is my name on there. And with that being said, let's get back right into the Funimation. So like I said, Toriyama influenced the company. Back in, I believe it was 1995, a group of fans, led by Fukunaga, that guy, led a little company called Funimation. They got the ability to run it because the guy that had it was, he was cousins with a guy over in Toei Animation who had Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. He's like, alright, cool. Let's get Dragon Ball Z. And it was history. They also acquired other shows like Blue Gender, Fruits Basket. But Dragon Ball Z was the one that was the one that sent them into the stratosphere. And almost 30 years later, I'm talking about the death of Funimation. Now, people had made videos before saying, oh, Funimation is dead when Crunchyroll bought it. AT&T would acquire the rights to Crunchyroll, and Crunchyroll would then buy the rights to Funimation. No, wait, AT&T would acquire the rights to Crunchyroll, then sell it to Sony. Sony would then acquire the rights to Funimation after purchasing both of them. Crunchyroll and Funimation are now owned by Sony. I believe that in the next 4 to 5 years, Crunchyroll will no longer exist and it'll be Sony Anime. But yeah, on April 3rd, 2024, at midnight EST, Eastern Standard Time, or EDT, Eastern Daylight Savings Time, the streaming service Funimation would finally come to a close, and no longer have the ability to stream. But I'm jumping ahead. When did this all what is my story with Funimation? Well, you see, I've been an anime fan since about 2008, 2009. Going further into anime, not really doing as much, just watching what was ever on Netflix, and what was ever available to me at the time on TV. I wasn't the biggest grasp of the anime fan. I didn't know much about anime, but I knew the basics. The app would come out, I believe, in 2010, along with the app for Neon Alley. I would watch both of them. That was where my anime journeys really tended to begin. In fact, I remember watching Masters of Martial Arts on Funimation for the very first time. It was Masters of Martial Arts. It was also Want to Be the Strongest in the World I dabbled in. Yeah, I watched a lot of ecchi anime back then, and it really didn't change. You realize what you are as a person when you go back and when you go back and look on your childhood and upon your childhood. And that's where my story began. In 2009, 2010, when the Funimation app would launch, it was history. For 15 years, almost. I want to say 15 years. For 15 years, 14, 15 years, I'm going to say 10 years plus. It was a part of my life. Through app changes, through bad and good, and trust me, there was a lot of bad. Just like the things I mentioned earlier, not dubbing these things, not dubbing the Dragon Ball OVAs, or not dubbing the Fairy Tail OVAs, or not dubbing any OVAs, or gaining the rights to 10-year-old, gaining the rights to anime Blu-rays or anime content that are 10 years old and releasing them 10 years later. You could look up hundreds of titles, dozens of titles, and see that. Some things that were probably lost in the merger, that were going to be released but never got released because Funimation went under. ADV, when they went under, they also had some anime that never got dubbed, or that did get dubbed and just never released. Mermaid Melody was one of those things. But yeah, Funimation would close its doors, and Funimation would no longer exist. I am sad that the streaming service is gone because the app itself was very accessible for me. Now, it didn't have text-to-speech on the console, but it was very accessible. In the beginning, it was hella accessible. I never saw it without my eyes, so the old Funimation app, the first one, yeah, I didn't really use it like that without my eyes. Same with the second one. The third and fourth final ones I did use without my eyes. And I could just say that I would use my phone, and then I would put the anime I want to watch, and then just go to recently added through taking screenshots. You can't do that on the console and PlayStation 4 with the Crunchyroll. Maybe that'll change. I highly doubt that. Crunchyroll needs to get better. Some of the shows that I watch, some of my favorite shows that were on Funimation that'll probably never get ported to anything is sad. It's really sad. Some of the shows that I enjoyed watching that'll be lost to time because they're out of print, or Crunchyroll doesn't deem it worthy enough to get a re-release. Dragon Ball. They lost the rights to Dragon Ball. For crying out loud. Dragon Ball. You know, Dragon Ball. Gotta get that Dragon Ball. You know that one? Yeah. That's out of print in physical media. That is insane to me that they would allow that to happen. That's insane to me. It's crazy to me that Dragon Ball is out of print and Toriyama's passed, and there's still not they still haven't got the rights to it. I mean, Discotek will probably get the rights to it because it seems like they're probably sleeping with Funimation behind the scenes. It really seems as though they're sleeping with them. That's speculation, though. Take that with a grain of salt, but it genuinely seems like they're sleeping with Crunchyroll or Sony. I don't like that, but as long I don't trust Discotek anymore. I really don't. We're not here to talk about Discotek. We're here to talk about the death that is Funimation. I said some good things, some bad things that they done. Let's talk about some of the good things they did. They rescued anime. There's a lot of anime they rescued. Some of it never got released, but they rescued it. They also, I'm trying to think of the good that they did. If it wasn't for Funimation, Laura Bailey and Troy Baker and Travis Willingham would not be where they are today? Maybe? It's really hard to think of all the good that Funimation's done. It really is. Funimation's such a crappy company. Oh yeah, they actually listened to the fans at one point with their censorship. They actually went and uncensored some Blu-rays that are dead. Yeah, it's honestly crazy to think of all the stuff. There's also the dying days of Funimation. Let's talk about the dying days of Funimation. So, in the last 5 years of its creation, you fired Vic Mignogna, said screw. You did the Ishizoku reviewers controversy. You dragged your safe. Honestly, the last 5 years of your inception or your creation or your existence was very lackluster, and you kind of deserved it, but you also didn't. Let me explain. All the mud you dragged yourself through it brought up people to the light of what you were going through or what you're doing and how bad the company is, the business practices were. But it's bittersweet because it's something that's been in our lives for so long. If you've been alive in the last decade and a half, you know about Funimation. How if you've been alive in the last almost 30 years, you know about Funimation. If you watch Toonami at all, you know about Funimation. So it's just so strange to click on Funimation app and go to Crunchyroll. It's just so odd. Crunchyroll, fledgling company that at the beginning was created by a bunch of Kiss Anime moderators, or the subsection. And now, Crunchyroll, the service that was created by Kiss Anime sub-moderators, is now the biggest juggernaut and is now in name the biggest juggernaut of the anime industry. The biggest monopoly as well. Sony, yes, you do have a monopoly. It's just so strange and retrospective. In perspective, it's just so odd. And what's even more strange is Media Blasters, though they're hanging on a toenail, is the only dub company that still exists from the olden days. It's literally the only... It's literally the only dub company that exists now. They only do Shmentai, which I don't even know if Shmentai is still dubbed nowadays. Yeah, ow. I just keep hurting myself. Good gracious. Sorry about that pause. But yeah. Where was I going? I was saying sorry, I hurt myself and immediately lost my train of thought. Funimation. Lost a lot of things. This is what happens when you don't write things down and you go in the spur of the moment. Yeah, I genuinely don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Anywho. I'm trying to remember what else. Oh, there's that, yes. Almost forgot to mention that if you're an anime collector and you wanted to buy Funimation Blu-rays, I would say go ahead and do it. Go and prioritize Funimation Blu-rays and DVDs unless there's that one show that you really like and you can't have without, that you need to buy immediately. If there's that one show that you need, that you want to get, go ahead. I mean, I would prioritize that over the Funimation Blu-rays, just because go with what you want versus what you feel like you have to do on that one, that specific one. I know in the future that I will be possibly buying at least one Blu-ray at a time, or DVD, especially with some of the shows I recently watched. Yeah. We're gonna go over some of the shows that were the last shows I ever watched on Funimation. Yeah, it's getting down to that. So, my whole thing was I wanted to make sure that I watched every single episode, or not every single episode, I made sure that I wanted to watch as much as I could. Hold on, give me a second. I'm looking for something, I apologize. There they are. Anyway. So yeah, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not dumb, I swear. Sorry, I keep on getting distracted. Here are some of the, so I tried my best to watch everything I could on Funimation before it died. Shows that I felt as though were not going to be on Funimation anymore, and just shows I wanted to catch up on, but was either didn't watch them at the time they came out because they were simuldubs, or just never watched them, or just never finished them, or what may have you. There was a lot of shows. Shows that I didn't finish, but I finally finished were Bungo Stray Dogs Season 3 and 4, Jobless Reincarnation Season 2, Goblin Slayer Season 2, Show by Rock Season 2 and the shorts, the side story of Madoka Magica. It's actually kind of getting a little bit chilly in my house, or in my room. Nice. The side story for Madoka Magica, Mob Psycho Season 3, and Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 and 3. To name some off. I should have probably prioritized some other anime as well in that list, like I probably should have watched Smartphone Season 2, as well as finishing up other shows, but it is what it is. I finished shows that I really wanted to watch, and started and finished shows as well. To name off some of the shows that I finished, while the dying moments of Funimation, Back Arrow. For the first time I finally watched Back Arrow. It was fun. It was really fun. I liked it. The main character was the weakest dub performance, but everybody else did a really good job, and I really enjoyed it. Also, Jerry Jules' character was the best. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. That choir. But yes, I finished Back Arrow, or watched Back Arrow for the first time. I also watched Murder Princess for the first time. I finished that. That was interesting, because it was so interesting to go... Because what I did, I went and watched a lot of newer shows and a lot of older shows. I watched... And a show that wasn't on Funimation originally, that was a acquirement. Or an acquisition. Yeah, I went all over the place. Dog and Scissors, Oedo Rocket, Murder Princess, Back Arrow... To name some of the ones... Oh yeah, and I also finished the Attack on Titan series. Yeah, again, like I said, had a lot of anime I watched, and had a lot of anime I just straight up finished. And out of all the newer anime I watched... Oh, I also finished... And the final thing I watched... Well, tangents and ramblings. I ramble a lot. Some of the shows were fine. Like, Murder Princess was okay. I was like, alright, cool, I got that out of the way. Dog and Scissors was funny. I like Dog and Scissors for the most part. It's just that I didn't like some of the things that I saw. There are certain tropes, because it was made at a time where let's attack the main character because he's male, that kind of stuff. And then I would have to say, though, my favorite one that I watched of the new IPs, of the new shows I'd never seen before, I was looking forward to watching this because it was an older show. It was just an older show. I had heard about it, I looked it up, did some research. I'm actually going to be doing a full review on it because people need to see this. People need to see this show. I honestly recommend it to anybody who likes comedy. And I also recommend it as a deep dive into the localization because, man, does it take liberties. Called Oedo Rocket. Oedo Rocket was the funnest show, the newest fun shows. Oh my gosh, it was so fun to watch. I marathoned 26 episodes in 24 hours. Actually, I marathoned 26 episodes in less than a day. I have no life. So, yeah. Oedo Rocket was super fun. To give great lines such as, if this sucked any harder, I'd put a ring on it. Or I can't say that on YouTube. Well, actually, I can. Or, wow, your face is... Wow, the face paint you have on is so dark. It's black as the night sky. But it's not blackface, though. Yeah, that would be offensive. Or you have somebody going on about Prison Break and Dexter. Or other hilarious lines, such as, wait, we could take care of this all the way? Why did we need... What? Why did it... What? Yeah, if we did that, we couldn't extend the show to 26 episodes. Fourth wall breaky things like that. It was great. The second to last thing I had ever seen on... The second to last full thing I ever saw on Funimation, and the very last thing I ever saw on Funimation, was the Trigun movie. Which is a testament... Which I think it encapsulates Funimation. It was a plethora of different voice talent from all over Texas and from Houston, Dallas, and some from California because of Vash, because JYB, Johnny on Bosch, and then you had the mediocrity of the app itself, or maybe it was the app, maybe it was my phone, but the show itself, the music overpowering the dialogue, which means as the app itself, the last thing I watched was something with very, very bad sound mixing. So like Funimation, the last thing I watched had terrible, terrible effort put into it. Just like the last remnants of Funimation itself. And where do we stand now? Well, as of April 4th, 2024? Or April 3rd, 2024, I apologize. As of April 3rd, 2024, Funimation's dead. Crunchyroll is still active, which is the most annoying app to deal with. Crunchyroll itself is annoying. Get good, Crunchyroll. And it stands to be the biggest platform to watch anime on. You've got some things like Netflix and Hulu, but Netflix literally just takes what Crunchyroll wants to give it, along with a few other original things that are Netflix originals, such as Carol and Tuesday, which Sentai has the rights to that, strangely, funny enough. Or, not Seven Deadly Sins, or, actually, yeah, that's the only real example, Carol and Tuesday, like a show like Carol and Tuesday, or, I want to say Violet Evergarden, but Crunchyroll got the rights to that, because of course they would do that. Or a show like Kuroko's Basketball, a show that currently up to this day has no official release on physical. Yeah, Hulu has shows, again, Hulu originals, but that's whatever Disney wants to dub, and Disney barely dubs. That'll be a Rant Room episode in the future. So so as of right now, the only real entity that's not under, in any way, shape, or form, the Crunchyroll banner is Media Blasters. And technically, Media Blasters has... I could be mistaken, but I think Media Blasters might have some stuff on Crunchyroll. Same with Sentai Filmworks, but for the most part, they're their own dubbing industry. They're the only distributors nowadays. Viz Media has ties with Funimation, or it did. Now the ties that license seeped into Crunchyroll, or that contract probably went into Sony/Crunchyroll. And Discotech, they are probably laying in bed with Sony. Sentai Filmworks is the only real one, because Aniplex owned by Sony. Crunchyroll owned by Sony. Discotech, I don't doubt Sony has a stake in that. I don't doubt they have stock in there, is what I'm saying. So where does that leave us? Well, to be perfectly honest, the anime fan loses. Unless you want to sell the 7 Cs, most of your anime that you love in English, or at all, it's probably lost to time. And that sucks. This is a bittersweet moment It sucks that Akira Toriyama's dead, even though his contribution to the anime industry for the most part is over. It still sucks to see him die. And Funimation, a company that, yeah, it was a piece of garbage in the last 5 years, and that stood out throughout all the good that it may have done. But it died of mediocrity. It sucks. But let me leave you with the good news. Akira Toriyama's legacy is not dead. And it won't die. Because things like Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Sandland, Dr. Frapp, even though it's not in English, Dr. Slump, even though it's not in English, they exist. They're still available to view, and watch, and play, and indulge. Funimation, though the company name is dead, a lot of the animes aren't for now. And there is a silver lining in all this. Crunchyroll actually dubs most of the things that go through when it comes to properties of a show. 90% of the time, I would say the majority of the time, if they start dubbing episode 1, they'll continue dubbing it all the way through. And they'll continue even dubbing the OVAs. Usually. They still are the censorship kings, because they're owned by Sony. And shows that you really care about, I'm gonna black pill you on this, are probably gonna get censored. Jobless Reincarnation, censored. What was it? What was that one that they censored not too long ago? World's End Harem, censored that crazy. The censorship from this company is garbage, and it never should exist. But at least you have older Blu-rays from older Funimation shows that you could possibly watch, and older Funimation things through the 7 Seas if you choose to do that. I'm not encouraging it, of course. Don't think that. But if you want to sell the 7 Seas, just know you have more of a plethora of content. Anyway, guys, with that being said, if you stayed through all the way till the end, you're a real one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying through this somber note. Usually I'm more happy and cheerful. Usually I'm not more doom-pilled. And yeah. Akira Toriyama, Funimation, you're two things that lived the test of time for the longest time. And though one will continue to stand the test of time through the properties and the anime that you created, the other one will live in infamy for the last 5 years of its company's existence. And with that being said, guys, if I left anything out, if there's anything problematic with what I said, or you just think I'm an idiot, leave a comment down and talk about what your favorite things are with Akira Toriyama, or with Funimation, or some of your favorite Funimation releases that they went all out for, that you think that they did really cool for. Mine would have to be the Seraph of the Inn Blu-ray. That was pretty good. They went all out for that one. Though Ellie was pretty hard. And until next time, guys. I'm Brad from the Otaku Paradise. Though life can be doom and somber, and life could get you down, remember there's always a light at the end of that tunnel. Hold on, give me a moment. I'm being interrupted. Just give me a moment.
Screen off. Ringer by.
Sorry about that, family. Anyway. Like I said, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and though these death is a thing that will happen no matter what. Just know, there's one place you can always go that will always provide you just with a small piece of paradise. And until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed that small little piece of paradise. And Akira Toriyama and Funimation, may both of you rest. Until next time, guys, it won't be a month until I stream again, I promise. We'll have more frequent streams in the future. I'm Brad from the Otaku Paradise, I hope you have a better rest of your day, and better rest of your days. Till then, enjoy the sight of Cammy's ass.
Cannon spike. Cannon spike. Cannon spike. Cannon spike.
And I'm gonna leave you
Spiral arrow.
with, I'm gonna,
Spiral arrow. Spiral arrow. Cannon spike. Cannon spike.
oh,
Cannon spike.
oh.
Ta!
There we go, I'm gonna leave you with this.
Cannon spike. Cannon spike.
Uh,
Go. Cannon spike.
wow. Well,
Spiral arrow. Come on.
well then,
Spiral arrow.
well then that, guys, I was gonna try and leave you with a,
Spiral arrow. Come.
with Cammy doing her ultra. But nevertheless, guys, till next time, I'm Brad from the Otaku Paradise, signing off. I'll come back later. We'll talk about One Piece, we'll talk about Wano, we'll talk about all the things of the future. Till next time, guys, stay sexy.